Yeah, welcome, folks. Our new Gambia platform, weekly talk show. Today is December 19, 2021. We're going to be discussing about the UDP petition to the courts, our opinions here, and what we think. The counter petition that the Barot teams also put forward, showing that the president has immunity for any kind of petitions like this. So here are our panelists: Sam Sise from Indiana, United States. Sam, welcome. Njaga from Denmark.
Yeah, I am here, and hi to everyone. How are you, Sam?
We have Alas from Germany, and Famara Drame, United States, Washington DC. Famara, welcome. All right, thank you guys. We have our guest Malandin Balo joining, and then also we have Sam Fall. So today we're gonna be discussing about this petition, folks. What do you think? This petition means. What are your take on it? And then whatever opinions you have, you can share with the group. Thank you, guys. Sam.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Sam can start.
I know this is a sensitive issue, but
it's a national issue. So
yeah, it's a sensitive issue, but it is a national issue, and our country is an independent country. So we are our own. We have our own people, and we have democracy in our country. When there is democracy, there is truth. We want truth for everything. My take on my opinion on this, I am not going to say anything that I don't already know or people don't already know. Anything I'm going to say is already out there. So I'm not the one giving the information. The information is already there. So I'm going to talk about my opinion. After elections, it is very important that, when a winner is announced, a winner is announced. People can go with the winner and say, yep, that's the winner. And other candidates can concede and say, yep, they can concede and say, congratulations to the winner. Well, any party or any candidate that really have some doubt, not only doubt, but doubt beyond reasonable doubt, that there is evidence that something did not go right, and what did not go right is against the election rules and is against the law. They have every right, just like I said last week, they have every right to take it to the court. That's democracy. And when they take it to the court, now the burden of proof is on them to prove to the court that this is why we're here. But then the court decides whether there is tangible evidence and witnesses to overturn the decision. All right. If not, they can throw it out. They can throw it out a window and say the call will stand as it was by IEC. Now, keep in mind, IEC is Independent Electoral Commission. All right. They is supposed to be independent. There are a couple of things that I'm going to say here that, like I said, I'm not the one that's saying this. This is already out in the news. I heard on the news, actually, that part of the petition that was filed by UDP was because that IEC selected or appointed people from NPP that were the overseers of the elections in different polls. Well, to me, I'm in the human resource department. I work in human resource department, so I deal with the law. I know I'm not a lawyer, but I deal with law. I want the truth. I want nothing but the truth. That's it. All right. So and appointing people by IEC to oversee the election from NPP, that makes them not independent. Those are from that party, and they are the people that are going to oversee the election. To me, according to the law, that is conflict of interest, and conflict of interest is not something that we should allow to happen. It's against the law. You cannot have conflict of interest. You have to be fair. You have to be independent to be a judge. You cannot be favoring this one party and then be the overseer of something, and then that party wins. So that's one. All right. The second part that was said on the news, I'm repeating what was said on the news. I'm not the one that revealed this information. I'm just saying what I heard on the news. The second part is, after elections, when the counts were done, other party representatives, in other words, the ones that we call, election polling agents, were deprived. They were deprived by these people, by IEC, from seeing certain results or from witnessing certain things. Again, that also is against the law. They are supposed to be, IEC is supposed to be independent. That's why I said this on my, on this platform and on my platform and on WhatsApp forum. I've said this. I said, election is important. It's our democracy. It's our fundamental right. People have to vote for the candidate they want. But IEC has a great role to play. They are considered independent electoral commission. They need to be independent, and they need to play the book, play this by the book. They need to be fair. If not, this could end up in court. That's what I said here. I said this could end up in court. Look at where we are today. We are in court now. Exactly what I said. Why? Because some people, I'll say UDP and Mama Kande, were all there that said it was not fair. And if they have every right, nobody can deprive them from their right. They have every right to say it was not fair. They have every right now to go to, when it's not fair, no need, like I said last week too, no need to come to the media or no need to come tell people. They need to tell the court. And that's exactly where they went. They went to the court to file the petition. And when they file the petition, just like I said last week, the burden of proof is on them. They have to prove to the court that this is what we're talking about. The election was not fair. As a result, then the court will look at it. When the court looks at it, I'm not going to talk about what the judges are going to do. We all know what they're going to do. They're going to look at evidences, call witnesses, and have them testify, and then analyze the situation and see where the truth is. The court is going to rule based on the truth. And when they rule, they can say, yep, it is true. There is clear enough evidence, undisputable evidence, or indisputable evidence that shows that this call by IEC that Barrow won was not fair, was not true, was not the right call. They can overturn that. Or IEC can say, yep, we don't have enough evidence from you guys. There's not enough tangible reasons or evidences for us to overturn this, so that we're going to leave it the way it is. The call will stay as it's called, and that will be the end of the story. So that's what I want to say. This is democracy. I mean, democracy, we all want the truth. We want the truth. I want to clap for the person and say congratulations, the person that wins. But, you know, if there is doubt in it, I want to hold off clapping until I know the truth. Okay, I want to know the truth first. When I know the truth, then I'll say congratulations to the winner. Okay, that's kind of like my take.
Wow. So you just at this point, you're just saying that leave everything with the courts. You have no opinions or so about it.
Yeah, if it goes to the court, you know, then the court has to rule. That's why we have the court. You know, that's why we have the court. I gave an example last week also.
What is your take on the counter petition?
The counter petition, I heard that one. I have not read anything about it, and I have not heard that on the news, so I have very little to say there. I want to see all of that first before I say anything. Even if I see anything, like I said, I am not the judge. We are not the judge here. It all, as long as it's in the court, in the hands of the court, we have to listen to the court. We're going to have to wait for what the court says. Whatever the court rules, they are there. The Supreme Court is there to interpret our Constitution. So I believe in that. I believe in the Constitution. I support the Constitution. I don't believe in individual stuff. He said, and so all of that is something I don't believe in. I want the truth. I just believe in the truth, and I never support anything that's not truth. So I want to support the truth, and the truth will come from the court. So that's what I want to say.
All right. So I think we have our guest here. Sam, thank you for that. Malaning.
Thank you, Sam.
Yes, please.
Yes, senior man, you are online. can you just introduce yourself and then just jump right into it? We've been waiting for you, and then we have some people on the phone also waiting for your.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we are not seeing you, senior man.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. I first have to apologize for my late joining.
No problem.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, I had to visit a sick brother all the way around Kombo Gunjur.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
But we cannot see you. Can you adjust your video? We cannot see you.
Yeah, let me get back and try to set him properly.
Oh, okay. Take your time.
Yeah. Hello?
Okay, now we can see you.
Yeah, you can you hear me also?
You're welcome.
Yes.
You can see me and you can hear me too.
Yes, senior man. Yes. By the way, Mbalo is my senior, one class in Armitage High School, so you know each other way back,
You're welcome.
That's right. Way back in 84.
84, yes.
That's correct. 84 to 88, at least we were together.
We were together, exactly.
Yeah, I must
that's the
apologize,
time I left high school.
Yeah, as I said, for my late joining, because it was due to reasons beyond my control. I had to visit a sick brother. And I want to make it also very clear that I am appearing on this program on my own personal accord, not representing any political party or a group of individual or an institution.
That's good. You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, I am participating as a citizen Gambian and how I see things.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So
Thank
that's me. My name is Malandin Balo. I am an educator. I am a principal of a particular private school in the Gambia.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Right.
But Sam was explaining something. We have to leave Sam to complete. Or Sam, where are you? Okay.
He can come in. He can continue. Then I will also, join you and hear more, and then I can let us chip in.
No, I don't know if you heard me, Mr. Mbawa, but I said what I wanted to stop there and give people opportunity to talk. So if you came in, since you're in, and you want to say something to what we're discussing, definitely go right ahead.
Well, I am just joining. I did not actually hear any discussion.
Yet. Oh, okay.
Yes, but Mbalo, but what we were preparing for is that you wanted to talk about the petition issue that you reached out to me. Then we just want to open the floor for you as a guest. Then you can just say what you need to say, and then we can just chip in, ask questions, and also express our opinion. How about that?
That's not a big deal for me.
Exactly. So I sent you the motion also that I just received about the petition, the immunity area also. So you also read that. So you can give us your insight about this petition, and then we take it from there.
Thank you, Sawana. Well, you see, I am not a legal personnel per se. I'm just talking on my own experience as a layman, because looking at the petition, I think the petition is seeking for the invalidation of the election of President Adama Barrow.
Exactly.
So initially, I understand President Adama Barrow was the only respondent, and the following day, UDP, amended the petition and included the organizer of the elections, also IEC.
Exactly.
So personally, when I saw the first petition in which it was only Barrow that was the respondent, and that they were praying for the court to render the elections invalid, because according to the petition, President Barrow and his team and representatives were involved in corrupt practices in one way or the other. So my own personal opinion, which is not legally based, I don't know how with the legal minds interpret it, is that, well, if you are challenging the validity of elections, I think it's better for you to challenge the organizer of the elections, but not a contestant. President Barrow was a contestant like any other person, but actually he was the incumbent president as well. We need to understand that. Some people will tell you that, well, Section 69 of the Constitution, that is immunities. Immunities does not cover this one because at that time, Barrow is not the president. That Barrow is going to be sworn in on the 19th of January. But if you look at the provision, when does a president-elect gets inaugurated, gets sworn in? I think the requirement and the provision is that the president-elect will be sworn in on the day of the mandate of the previous presidency ends. So in this case, President Barrow is still the sitting president until the 19th. It is that day that the previous mandate in which that was given to him in 2017 or 2016 presidential election, sworn in 2017, the mandate is going to expire on the 19th, and that is the day whoever had won elections would have also been sworn in. So I saw a write-up in which it was indicated that President Barrow is not immune to this petition thing, even though the President Barrow's lawyers are calling for a no case to answer, and that the matter should be struck out of court. And I think initially when I wrote the first edition, and when I read the first petition, what I thought, and I said to my friends, well, if I were a legal practitioner, I think in this case, I don't think Barrow could be the right authority to challenge for the invalidity of the election in which he participated. It is the organizer, the referee. Remember, two of us competed, and then I scored you with my hand. I scored you with my hand, and the referee did not see that I scored you with my hand, and he accepted it as a goal. Is it my fault that I should be punished for doing that when the referee does not see it? Will that be my fault?
Yeah.
Actually, no. Well, in football, but I don't know.
These are personal opinions anyway, because the case is in court. And Barrow's lawyers have filed that it should be struck out of court, and that judgment is settled for hearing on Tuesday.
Right, we don't have more time. So, I think they are given 1 month to clear all these things, no? Because I think after 1 month the person should be sworn in, and I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. So Mbalo, we're gonna have to see if anyone have questions, but. All I want to say is what you mentioned about Barrow being sued as an individual beside IEC. Don't you think Sajo, I don't know, UDP's lawyer, Sajo, is it Ture or Dabo, Mr. Dabo, and can't you just tell the reason why they did that? Because they must have also done their homework and see if they go for MPP, that might not be giving them more of a chance of overturning it. That's why they went for the president. And then don't you also don't you think also that president's immunity might be a point of debate because of this gap that between winning and then between the inauguration, like how Madi Jobade put it on that article? So don't you think that the lawyers have also done their job? Because if you look at them, they are confident and they're smiling, and then they're saying that the reason why they brought it to court because they know they're gonna win this case.
Well, every individual going to court expects to win the case. Nobody goes to court and expects I will not win. We have to understand that in the first place. Well, it might be a subject of interpretation by the appropriate, judiciary unit, whatever. I don't know, but one thing I know, from the 4th of December, when we had an election, when President Barrow is elected, it does not mean that the country does not have a president right now as we speak. Barrow is still the president. He is president-elect. And even if somebody was elected, he would have been president-elect, but Barrow would have still been the president until that one was sworn in.
Right.
Oh, yes.
But
let's imagine that it was Hussein Udabo that won the election. He will not assume office immediately, as they were putting it on the 5th of December, we go to State House. No, even if they had won, they would not go to State House by December 5th.
Yeah, but the law is very funny. I mean, this section they're talking about, I think only a lawyer or the member of parliament can tell us what it means and whether as you explained, is also right that way? Or
Well,
the
I
time
think
of election that there is no more like president-elect and there is no more like immunity, only
Yeah.
the people who know more about this article on what it means in our constitution maybe can tell exactly. The judge knows that, so he's going to
yeah,
decide. I think for the
well,
government,
I think so,
because
and
it's
I
just
think
pulling and yeah. Because if I say section 64, one can understand it this way, the other one can understand it that way, because we are all laymen about laws. So let the judge or the lawyers, I don't know, or even the member of parliament, because they should also know all the constitution better, and tell us that means this and that and that and that. But these are our problems. They just tell you section 10. Section 10
yeah,
is what? Yeah. So nobody can explain what is section 10. So
Yeah.
no Gambian knows that. So that
well,
brings confusion in a society. So
Thank you,
everybody
Baron.
sure,
is thinking now, as you explained, he is the president till somebody else is being sworn in, whether he himself or
exactly,
other. I can understand
exactly.
that. Very, very
That is
easy.
obvious.
But
That's
yeah,
obvious.
but then on the other hand, people are saying this section means between the election and to that time there is no president, because even Barrow himself is a contestant. So how do you see that when people say Barrow is then no more president, because that's why he's a contestant, which somebody can also say yes is true, because when he's a president then normally he doesn't need to be a contestant.
So
So that is where
Alice, in other words, this is confusing. I think the only the law, the court can kind of determine this part, I guess.
I think, because everybody can see this section as how he feels
How they
emotionally
feel,
and what he
exactly.
will, and how what he is up to. So
Yeah.
it's difficult sometimes to say, because we can be all wrong now. Only the
Yeah.
judge, that's why he's there to do
So
his job, to tell us this is right.
yeah. Okay, let's give chance to Jaga and Sam to come in. And then either ask questions or comment on Mbalo's Mbalo and
Yeah,
Sam.
Njaga can come in.
Yep, since I started, Jaga can go now, and then after that, we can allow Farmer, and then before I come back.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's what I mean. That's what I meant to say.
Njaga,
Farmer.
welcome.
yeah, because of maybe later, of course, I have to prepare to get work tomorrow soon. For me, I will just add up a little on what Sam has said. We are on a very fragile moment when it comes to our democracy, because we had, as we call it, 20 years of more than 20 years of tyranny rule, or we can call it as dictatorship for UDP. So from there, Adam Barrow came, and from there we were all voicing for change. When it comes to change of eye on what to respect our own institutions, you understand, make our democracy strong, make everybody feel like a Gambian, irrespective of where you belong, tribe you belong. So we were all voicing for change. So when it came now, after that regime has gone, this is the first democratic election we have had in when what we can say it in a democratic governance or in a democratic government. Maybe this is the first time we have tasted what freedom is like, democracy is like, and the right for human, for a citizen. So then we have elections. Then through the elections, though, as I've said it here, you understand, we went through it in peace, you understand. Everybody involved with the IEC, the government, the people who were voting, all tried and maintain this peace. So now, after the election has gone, something happened. A winner have been declared and a loser also. And the loser said it is not fair that the winner has been declared a winner, because there are some things that had happened during these elections that shouldn't be done. That is against being fair or free. So that is their democratic right. Everybody has a right because of here against 19 January, before the president sworns in, they have the right to challenge anything they have to challenge. But the problem is there are other things that implicates in it because of, our country and all those things, because of that time, because of these things, like it's from one step to another. That time, I hope that it won't affect how the country is going right now. We have other things to take care of right now. I think so. So what I'm going to say is that I hope that the reason why this UDP or Usainu Dabo wrote this petition against the government, I hope that they have a genuine reason and a genuine proof. Because of if they don't, honestly speaking, it will be like they are putting some other thing on our country that is necessary. But it is their right and their opinion to do whatever they want to do to contest the elections because of it is their democratic and their constitutional right. So that's all I want to say on it.
That's right.
I agree. That's very right.
Yeah, Farmer can come in now.
Jaga. Mfamara, yeah, Mfamara can come in. Jaga.
Thank you.
Okay, Jaga,
Yeah,
Mfamara come in, and after I will ask Jaga something. But come in, Mfamara.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Very interesting discussion. Just like Jaga and Sam already alluded, and going to court is something that is very normal in elections. We have seen in other countries before, especially in Kenya, where the previous elections, some of them, we have seen the opposition filing petition against the incumbent for winning the elections. So it is normal if the opposition feel that something didn't go right, and they want to bring it to the attention of the Supreme Court that the election in question is in doubt. Now the burden of proof is now on the head of the opposition, which in this case is the United Democratic Party, because even though we understand the GDC also is not happy with their election results, I'm not sure if they have officially filed a petition or to go against the results or not. But so far, the one that is going to the court is the United Democratic Party. So now the burden of proof is on the UDP to come out and tell us what they claim to have gone wrong. It is they have ample evidence to prove themselves. I think this is what we need to listen to what the court is saying, because the court is going to go through their petition. And then just like our guest already said, I think they filed against the president, leaving the IEC back. And then that prompted them to go and amend the petition again and include the IEC, because it was not only President Barrow, but also they have a fault in what IEC was doing. So this means their petition was amended to allow to include the IEC there as the referee, just like our guest said, So now it is now up to the court now, to go through all these details that and evidences or the UDP highlighted in their petition letter, and then see whether it's something that, hold water or not. I know on the case of the president having an immunity, I think that the court already mentioned that, and I think the 1997 Constitution is well stipulated in that a sitting president is somehow got an immunity on certain things that you cannot bring the president to court about. Yeah, but there are other things that we will be very interesting to know about how those ones unfolded, like the inducement of money in some campaign trail, during the campaign trail, and then donation of some cooking utensils and all those things. All of those things, I'm sure the court will check them out one by one, which is relevant and which is not relevant. And then we'll come to the bottom of the issue. Yeah, personally, if you guys can remember, when the voter registration started, I think we talked about the voter registration process, and whereby we have seen some UDP people going around the country, with their black shirts and then monitoring the registration centers. I think that was a very good enforcement strategy, because that was a loophole where we all know as Gambians that we have that weakness still within our country that politicians use very much, whether you are an incumbent or an influential or the head of alcalo or chiefs, whatever, because people have the power to be given issued attestation forms. And those attestation forms is a big loophole in our electoral system because nobody control who the alcalo give attestation to. And these are the gaps. If the election will be stolen, that's the area where elections are stolen, not actually when it comes to counting at the counting center. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any fault in the counting center. There could be, but it would be very, very minimal because every political party have a representation at that counting center, and then they count, everybody agreed before you append your signature on the sheet of paper. You understand? So in that aspect, the cheating there will be very, very, very minimal. I'm not saying, I'm not ruling out because like I had some people in their analysis why the elections results were delayed is simply because people were counting, there are a lot of things going on there. But here, I mean, I think UDP has a point in that registration process. Hadn't been they went to revising court, hadn't been they have issued, because we have seen some of pictures of people that they have already sent on WhatsApp, including our New Gambia platform, that people who have obtained registration cards and they are non-eligible. And we are even seeing they're even comparing, the person's name on their original ID card, which is a non-citizen ID card, and the voter registration card they hold during the process. They were even comparing the two. So I believe they must have some evidences during those nomination process that people definitely were brought in the country and then do certain things. But those are the evidence that they need to show to the court. And I don't know why they could not challenge the revising court of those evidences if they have at that time, rather than coming to the end of the election. Maybe they were so confident as well. So these are some of the things that we need to see what the court, it will be very interesting to see what the court is going to bring up. And I'm also very curious about what the Gambia Democratic Party, GDC, also had in terms of, the evidences they want to have, because they say they are going to file separately, not with the UDP. So probably, I don't know whether UDP have covered the areas they want to cover or not, or maybe they have something different. But it's very interesting to know. But what we are going through now is not something new. It has happened in other countries. It has happened in Kenya. It has happened in, even United States here. We have seen, is it the Al Gore and the other ones, the former presidents
2000, yeah, 2000.
Yeah, 2000, yeah. And then also, I think it ought to happen in Asian countries, in India before. We have also seen it happen. So it is something normal. If oppositions feel they are not happy with what has transpired, for them to go to court, that's normal. Now it is up to the referee, the referee, which is the IEC, and then also, of course, the party of the incumbent, which is the National People's Party, to prove to themselves what the oppositions are saying is right or wrong. And then including, some of the members of the NPP who were part of the supervisors at the electoral centers. And so all of these are evidence that they need to come out. But so far, so good. I think this is good for our democracy. I think now the people now have the confidence in our courts that they can rely on, because maybe, I don't know when this happened in the 22 years. Did UDP really file something in the last 22 years during administration, the Jammeh's administration? I've not had any petition.
Never. It has never happened. This is the first time,
never happened. Maybe at the time they don't even believe the judicial system at all. So if now we're having those kind of things happening, then maybe it shows there is a level of confidence in our judicial system now. So far, this is my contribution. So it'll be very interesting to know on Tuesday what the Supreme Court have to say about the evidences brought forward to them for consideration by the United Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so yes, Alice, you came, right? You did, right?
I came already. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just add something to this before we go to Sam. I have a few questions. Njaga, for you, the question that I have is that you mentioned that since the election is over, we know the winner. Perhaps this will drain our country, having to take this to court and so forth. Even you don't think anything will come out of it. But what do you think this will mean if the court has to revise this thing? I mean, say that we have to have a fresh election. Do you think this is something feasible, or that will put the country in a state of instability?
If UDP has to come out winners from this case, then there are lots of things. Yeah, first of all, it will be a
Somebody's background is disturbing.
First of all, if UDP has to come victorious out of this case, it will be a shame on our democracy. It will be a shame on our institutions, and it will be a shame on IEC, and it will be a shame on President Barrow. If I thought UDP came victorious out of it. And the second part of it is that we have to redo everything again. Then who is going to fund that? The state is going to fund that. From who? From us. So it is going to drain our economy, and it is going to put our country on hold. You understand? So that's why before, when these things has to happen, elections or things like that, it is everybody's responsibility to make sure that it is free and it is fair, from the IEC, the government, and everybody involved. Because at the moment that things like this start to happen and things get up, at the end, it will bring a hole to our country, a hole to our economy, and a real shame on our institutions.
Okay. Thank you. Mbalo.
Yes, please.
Mbalo.
Yes, please.
If President Barrow get away with this, and people have this wound of the fact that he hasn't won this election, but the court say, okay, definitely there are irregularities, widespread irregularities, but we cannot. If we wanna, for the sake of peace, let's just let this go. Let's perhaps bring UDP in the government. Let President Barrow bring UDP in the government. Let's find a common ground to come together. And this happened already, because if we have to go back and overturn it, it will be a big mess. So, do you think this will hurt President Barrow's ability to rule the country? It looks like somebody's background. Somebody has a noisy background.
I think Mr. Mbalo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just at a noisy background. Let me just try to move a little bit away from where I am. Yeah, my background was a bit noisy.
You just put your microphone. You just turn your microphone.
Yeah, and when you're ready to speak here. Okay. So what I was saying is that if this thing turned out to be that the court finds, reasonable fact that the election was not fair, right? And then but started to work it out with UDP folks, and say, if we have to overturn this, it might create problems, stability for the country and all that. Do you think this would undermine President Barrow's presidency, legitimacy as a president?
No. I personally do not think so, because you see, before judgment is delivered, whoever is responsible for presiding over the case must look at a lot of things. So many things must be taken into consideration before the judgment could be delivered. So I know for certain that it would not be easy to overturn the results of this election. In fact, in the first place, this petition is not challenging the number of votes President Barrow had. That one is not a subject of the petition. They believe that, yes, the people that voted, the votes that were counted actually were President Barrow's bona fide votes. He had over 400,000 people that voted for him. That is irrefutable, and that is not a question in the petition. It's not questioned by the petitioners. So the issue is, what they are saying in a nutshell is that the winner was involved in some form of corrupt practices, such as giving cash to people in order to induce them to get their votes, giving out cooking utensils and other things. So now it is left to the court to determine whether these kind of things are actually legitimate enough, to render the election of the presidency invalid. I think that is what they have to consider. You know, everybody knows, yes, President Barrow actually had that vote. The vote he had, they were correct because the UDP people took time and recounted and then collected all the results that their, you know, their polling agents gave to them. It took them time, but at the end of the day, when the petition is filed, we did not see anything there which is refuting the fact that President Barrow had got those votes.
Okay, that's clear.
That is clear.
Now, one more before Sam, you come. Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrow.
So the question here is the way, you know, and manner in which they managed to get those votes. That is what they are refuting.
Okay. Now, Famara, what more before Sam comes?
Thank you, Mr.
Famara, you mentioned something about perhaps the registration time was where if there would be anything cheating might be happening there because of the fact that
could have been there, but not now.
UDP folks were trying to go after people who are not citizens and registered. And if you look at the record voting, 962,000, that is like half of the population of Gambian population registered to vote. That's a lot.
Exactly.
So now
that's a lot.
That's a lot. Common sense will tell you that something has happened. So how would these people be able to register this illegal vote, especially around in the surrounding Senegal, without UDP knowing, without anybody among the opposition knowing or finding out or trying to figure out this? Because if you allow that to stand and then you agree on that number, that 962,000 number, and now you do the election, you cannot change the rules of the games when the games are already in place. When you're in a football game, you cannot change the rules. If you accept that this is the rules that we're going to apply, we cannot change it. But now, that doesn't seem to be very valid. If they had and then they don't
Somebody's background is disturbing me.
With the 962,000, how can somebody?
I think Mr. Mbalo can put his phone on mute. That's where the background. There you go. That's where the background is coming from.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you guys get my point. My point is that the 962,000 vote is a lot. Everybody with common sense would know. Gambian population. This is more than half of the Gambian population, and you don't have half of the Gambian any population anywhere vote, because you have to consider children. You have to consider a lot of things, foreigners and so forth. So now that UDP accept that 962,000 registered vote and didn't go to revising court and say this is too much of our population eligible to vote, and then they didn't go to the neighboring Senegal to try to find out who these people are registering or who is registering who. Now that the game is on, until the results come out, you cannot try to undo the game because of the rules already after the game has started already. You have to do it before the game starts. Say, hey, I don't think this registration process is gonna agree to this. You have to challenge it. But after they did their registration and now the outcome is known, you cannot go back and say, oh, I think they register people. And that's your fault. You need to stop that. You need to bring that complaint.
Yeah, thank you, Sawana. See, that's what's more important here. It's not UDP alone, the political party in the Gambia, oppositions in the Gambia. You understand? So I think it is out of fear because at the time they were in monitoring those centers, we have seen the president made a statement against them, people wearing black, going to intimidate people. And then, and then at some point, we have also seen the internet incident that happened to Diba and Co. at Kanilai. So at some point, probably UDP even felt like, well, are we the only opposition party here trying to see that things goes right? Because the other opposition parties are quiet about it. Nobody's talking about, things not going right at the voter registration centers. It was only the UDP going about it. You understand? So after all that incident that happened to them, when they were going around all these registration centers to make sure everything is okay, probably at some point, they felt it was not necessary to even go to revising court. I'm just giving my own perspective because for the fact that people might see them again as they are the only political party that are going after, who is eligible or not. So that might be something negative against them. But I'm sure they have good evidence because we have seen, even in my own community, we have seen that, in our various platforms, we have seen people, mentioning stuff like that. We have listened to various audio messages, which people mention about, people obtaining, this registration, illegally. You understand? So they have evidence. But the reason why I was surprised they didn't go to revise in court, perhaps it is because what happened to them, people label them that going against people, harassing people, even though they are doing something that is good, because that's what every citizen should do. I'm not condoning the harassment. Harassment should not be. They should not harass anybody, because they have no business with anybody that was given an alcalos attestation and they know that the person is not eligible. They have no business with that person. All they need to know is that person, has he registered or not, and then verify from the list or from the IEC, because that list is a national document. It is going to be available for everybody to scrutinize. So that's where they should pick a name of any person they believe was issued, the document without the proper procedures, or that would, and then bring it to the court. So in my view, perhaps they were frightened, to go against to the revising court, to bring people's name out. Maybe those people or the people that support them, they will go against them and they'll say, you are the only political party coming after us. But there are other political parties there, and we don't have any of them mentioning about voters not doing in the right way or going to the far as what UDP is doing. You understand? But that is a point where they should have corrected. Because like you give, the numbers you give, over 900 and something thousand, that is a red flag right there, that, some numbers have been inflated somewhere. And we have seen some new polling stations also, came in that were not there before, So all of these are something that is, is a red flag. And I think that was an opportunity, to embark on and see whether things went right or wrong, because they were given at least 1 month for that revising court to go ahead and, verify issues. And also in the last minute, we have seen the registration also happen for those who lost their voters card and want to come. That was 2-3 weeks before the elections. We have also seen that happen too as well. So these are all loopholes, because we don't have a system in place to register people. Like if somebody turns on 18, you automatically get registered for a voter's card, whether it is time for election or not. But so long as you are 18, you went for a national document, you should automatically become registered to also be eligible for voter's card. So we don't have that system. So it is when elections are coming, we see people, going in, even non-eligible citizens that are residing in our country. They wait for this opportunity because they know the politicians are going to need them. They know when they knock on the door of the politician and say, hey, I've been in this country for 10 years, 15 years, even though you are required by law, because if you stay in the Gambia for 15 years, you are entitled to apply for a national document in the right way. But people don't do the right way, even though they've been in the country for more than 20 years and they have born children there, but they will wait for this opportunity to come because they know politicians will definitely help them out, and go to the alcalos and say, hey, I'm coming from, this institution, I am the this and this and this. Please issue us this number of attestation forms because we need to have to give it to people. Of course, all of these are happening because now we've seen the alcalos and the chiefs, all getting into politics. And we definitely see that it's widespread across our country. We all know that this is an open secret, but this is the loophole we have in our electoral system. And so long as we don't change that, the narrative is going to continue. And then elections upon elections is going to be in this kind of situation henceforth, because those people that got laid their hands on these documents, in the next minute, they are going to change that voter's card to an ID card, and then change the ID card to passport, and they'll become a citizen even though they are not eligible. Even though they are not eligible. And I think every patriotic Gambian, this is what we need to. We know we're not against people coming to our country. Some of us living in the foreign land, we know how much procedure you have to go. And elections don't, give you a leeway going around, back doors or, illegal ways to obtain national document. Because this is about citizens and who are eligible to become citizens. This is why we have our national cards. And that's why we have a law in place for any foreigner who wants to become our citizen in our country, the procedures that you have to follow. So if you're seeing people cutting short of those procedures, trying to go into obtaining our national documents, because some of them, they are not residing in our country, but they will get hold of a passport, they'll get over our ID card, and then go do whatever that we don't know. And at the end of the day, the brand name comes to our country. So, yeah. So in my regard, like your point I mentioned, I think probably UDP was afraid, to go to revising court for the fact that they have been labeled in the beginning of the process that they are harassing people. They are wearing black and black, going after registration centers and saying who is who. And they are the one who's saying, we also had statements saying, they say, if you, I don't have to go into all those stuff, but those are clear evidence probably that might have stopped them to take this further to revise in court. But I'm sure they have evidences, because in the various platforms that we have seen evidences of people who have obtained these cards illegally, and then they are in our communities.
Okay, thank you for that, Barbara.
Thank
Sam
you, Barbara.
if Sam can come in, and then we can have a last comment if you have.
Yep, we
we
can go in that order. So thanks, Infamara, and thanks to all of you that spoke about this. Mr. Mbalo is also online, so thank you for that. And he didn't get to hear my part, when I first started. He joined after I started, so I may repeat myself here a little bit for him to also hear my part. Like I always say, I don't support anything that's not truth, okay? So the truth is the truth, and there's only gonna be one truth. All right, so with that said, this is a sensitive issue, but it is an issue that need to be solved, and need to be solved with the truth, because we do not want this to continue in Africa. This is how we can demonstrate our democracy, showing that there is democracy in Gambia. Elections were held, and the elections were contested. As they contested them in the right place, which is the court. One or two parties, even if it's one party that goes to court, like I said last week, they have the burden of proof. The burden of proof is to really show the court why you're contesting. And what they said they're contesting. And I've also Farmer, thanks for bringing this up about voter registration, because I made a statement about that. I went online on Facebook Live, and I talked about that before elections. And I said, it is illegal for foreigners that are non-Gambian citizens to vote in our country. So even if there is one vote from a foreigner that voted in this election, is illegal. And the court is going to look at that as illegal. It should not have happened, period. So, and that being part of the petition, showing that some foreigners also voted, which created some noise in the number of registered voters. All right, the court is going to look at this. If UDP has evidence for that, they will need to prove that to the court, for court to look at that. But and the first two things that I said, one is having NPP representatives employed by IEC to oversee the elections is a conflict of interest. Anywhere you go in the world, it's a conflict of interest. It should not have been done. So the court is going to look at that. It's just like we have in a football game. In the football game, you pick the referee, the linesman, and everybody from your group, from your team, to referee the whole game. And at the end of the day, your team wins. How are people going to look at this? And people have seen abnormalities during the game. Referees should have called foul certain places. They didn't call foul. They've seen something that was wrong and they didn't call it. They saw a handball, they didn't call it. You know why? Because they are from that party, they're from that team. And that is the team they support. So that becomes a conflict of interest, and conflict of interest is against the law. So that's why I'm basing this in. So if UDP has the proof that there was a conflict of interest, the court is going to look at that. Another thing is, from their petition, I'm not saying what this is something everybody already knows because it was in news. One of the things in the petition was that the UDP agents or polling agents, other polling agents were deprived from seeing the truth. In other words, they were deprived from seeing certain things. So if we call it free and fair election, it should be transparent. Why hiding something? If you're not playing a game, why hide anything? Like I said, I support the truth and nothing but the truth. There should not be any hidden agenda in there. So for the other polling agents to be deprived, and I'm sure those people will be ready to testify in court as well as witnesses. If they testify in court as witnesses that a count was conducted and they deprived me from seeing it, that also is a no-no. That should not have happened or cannot happen. All right. So the other part is, again, from the voter registration. If UDP can prove that illegals voted for our during this election, when I say illegals, meaning anyone that's not a Gambian citizen, has a voter registration card, that's illegal. It's against the law. The Constitution says that. And the Supreme Court interprets that Constitution. So if they see that illegals, meaning people from other countries that are non-Gambian citizens that don't have any constitutional right to vote in our country, voted, the Supreme Court is going to look at that as illegal. Supreme Court is not going to see something that's illegal and then change it and make it legal today. That's not going to happen. It's not in our Constitution. So they are going to look at all of those. Like I said, to me, if Barrow won, Doyadabo won, and the winner was GMC or GDC or any of the, or SFR was the winner, I want it to be the right winner. I want it to be the truth. I want that person to be the one that has the majority vote from Gambian citizens, no foreigner in there. And I wanted to make sure that the election results were fair, were transparent and fair. And there was no cheating in there. There was no games played there, anything. And there was no conflict of interest. Because like I said, having people supporting so-and-so party, being the overseers, the supervisors of the election is a conflict of interest. That cannot be the truth. And I don't support anything that's not the truth. And that's why before elections, I released statements and I went on Facebook Live and I said this: foreigners, if you're not a Gambian citizen, do not register to vote. Because if you do, it's illegal. And I also said, anyone that facilitated registration of illegals to vote in our country, whether you are the one that is registering, the person that helped you, the person that facilitated it, you're all committing a crime and you can all be prosecuted for that. I said all of this. So to me, if it's not fair, it's not fair. It cannot be fair today. It has to go to court. That's why I am going to wait to hear what the court said. If the court said what UDP claimed is true and they have all the tangible evidence, indisputable evidence, the court will do the right ruling. If UDP don't have any case by not providing any evidence at all, then the call will stand as it is and President Barrow will be the winner. So this is very simple. To me, I'm not going to lose my sleep over it. I'm waiting for the truth. Well, the truth should come now that is in the court. And since I predicted this before, I also said that IEC better play by the book. If not, this election can end up in court. I said this, not once, not twice before election. I said it, and that's where we are today. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, you said it, and then we are there.
Thank you, Sam. Don't you think that the fact that you said it, that's why?
No, it's not because that's not the reason. It's because
you say I say that it happens because sometimes people will say, "Oh, Sam said that. Okay, I have to do it."
I also said something, and that was I said, "Where there is smoke, there is fire." Right? Remember that. I said that too. Where there's smoke, there's
I
fire.
know, but
So where that smoke was coming from, there was something cooking there. And what was cooking there?
So you saw the
Because
smoke.
if
You saw the
it was
smoke
illegal, if it was illegal, that's why we're in court.
But
You saw this- you saw
I
this
just
smoke.
wanted to
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Alas,
say
go
here
ahead.
something.
I
I just wanted to say here something. Sam, you're right. Thank you very much. But all this problem we're having today is something that should have been solved since 2016, because they all knew from there. Doesn't matter which party. The whole Gambia knew from there that our election is not done in the right way. Am I right or not?
No, they said
But,
that. They say
but
our
nobody,
electoral-
but
them
nobody
said-
was ready
them
to
said our-
even the parliament. Nobody was ready to talk about electoral reform. So it's definite that we will always have such problems as far as that is not done. We didn't do our work. Doesn't mean which party and so. The problem I have is sometimes when parties are together, some will even know in turn this is wrong. Nobody will talk about it. Some will enjoy it. But till there is division, then these problems will be made very known and common. So for me, that's why I have this problem. Because I cannot talk about a problem here now just because I'm on the other part. I was there before. I know everything. So I have that problem. Why didn't people don't talk about it? Till they have, or they move to another system, or I don't know, and start to knock on the door. I used to say that we have to be fair to ourselves. As far as we stay fake, we'll always have this problem because we never talk about the reality. We always try to impose and force our own interests. That is for me fake. Because if I should say this thing is red, I'll stay my life there to say that it's red. That is somebody, and such people I have respect. But if you tell me today red, tomorrow you tell me yellow, so how can I believe in you? How can I take your word to be serious? That's why I have problem. Sorry to say, but it is. But every Gambian knew that we needed electoral reform. The MPs, parties, everybody. So why didn't they take action? So, and all the complaint today, I know that any other party, if I told that, for example, UDP was the winner, I know that NPP will also maybe do the same action here, maybe, and try to make also problems and so. So to avoid that, we have to be serious and real to ourselves. We need electoral reform that everybody needs to know how it is and what is right. We should not even disturb the judges or the courts, because there is also another way of waste of money. We complaining of economy and keeping ourselves busy with such things. So where are we? That's why I always talk about we have to be real to ourselves, not always impose our interests. Even if it pains, we have to stay on the reality. Even if it is losses for us, we have to stay on the reality. For such people, I have respect for. That's why I cannot say much. And in this case, we have to be very careful now because nobody knows who is right or not. It's not. It's nice to talk about, but that's why we have the judge and the judges and let them say what is right and wrong. And I think then things goes on because I cannot say whether this is right or wrong. I'm not a judge, also a layman. It's not my field anyway. I know only a little. I cannot talk much about this topic.
You can just express your opinion on what you know.
Yeah, that's what I say. For me, that's what disturbs me, because I cannot support you today, Mr. Sawane, with your words, and tomorrow I start to say something against it. So where am I when I was supporting that? So that's where I used to say we have to be real to ourselves so that people know the direction we're going. You understand? But not talking this today, supporting this today, tomorrow I am against it, and so you bring the Gambian people. It's just confusion. As if we don't know what we want, as if we don't know what is truth and lie, as if we cannot differentiate who is criminal and not. So where are we? It doesn't matter which party you are,
we are
because
here.
even if I'm contesting for a party, I tell the people, even that can even be NPP. I cannot be Barrow and try to say this is good just because of my interest to rule. And after, when I'm in the opposition, I try to criticize that, which I was supporting, and try to make the people believe. So those people I cannot have respect for. Sorry. Because either they don't know what's good or they know it, but what is good for them, not for the Gambia. So it's a confusion. I know I say this is right, it's good, and we stay there, or we say this is bad, we don't want to do
Let
it.
him finish, and he's finishing.
So it's okay. I think, but for my opinion, I don't know which opinion I should even have.
Yeah. Okay.
If you ask me.
Okay. Thank you, Aras. I have two people here who want to contribute quickly before we wrap up. Malanding we can wrap up with Malanding, our guest. Yeah. So go ahead. Caller, they are listening now.
Yeah. So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Right.
Very well. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Abdul Jallo. I was informed of this event by the guest speaker, Mr. Malandimbalo, who is my senior, and I am happy to join. And I am also happy to hear one of my classmates' contribution, Famara Drame. We were together at Muslim High School. So I just want to, first of all, I heard so many people talk about free and fair. You see, elections are a very difficult thing to conduct, right? And there are so many factors that needs to be considered to determine if elections are free and fair. There are legal aspects, like somebody said, do registered voters have the legal rights to be registered and vote? There are also the legal aspect of the age, but there are also what you call the process aspect, right? And some of you were talking about how many people were registered in different places, or the alcalos giving attestations, so there are process aspect and how the elections were conducted. There are also logistics and technical issues that also needs to be considered. So there are multiple facets that needs to be considered to determine if elections are free and fair. Now, the reason why I brought that up is we need to look at what was the petition on, right? So there could be some irregularities that might have happened as a result of the process or as a result of some technicalities, but it is possible that the petition did not touch on some of those things, right? So obviously I'm not speaking from a legal mind. I'm just speaking from more of an operations guy. It's left with the courts, as everybody have alluded to. It's left with the courts to see what the petition is. Okay, and some people have also been trying to make reference to information that has been circulating around WhatsApp forums and things like that. And we also need to be careful of some of those things, because sometimes the rhetoric that people would do based on validated information can be very dangerous. Sometimes we will hear audios that whose sources are not known. We cannot validate the information of those audios. For example, talking about people registered who are not citizens, or people registered who do not have the legal age, and for example, even during the results, during the elections, I saw results that were being circulated as these are the results and UDP is winning. Well, sense, some of those results that were being circulated in the name of results were, for example, predictions that were done by a gentleman, a Gambian gentleman, which was sent out to some forums, like, for example, the Gambian Scholars Forum by Ibrahim Sise, for people to be able to see the predictions. I received those predictions 3 days before the elections, and I was very dismayed to see some of those predictions being circulated on the day of the elections in the name of these are the correct results. And people need to think about information that will be circulated sound basis for a petition or for here today. But I think free and fair is something that is difficult based on what is or what factor is the petition on. Something can be irregular, but if the petition did not touch on that, then obviously I'm sure the legal minds would look at that very carefully. But it's a great discussion, and obviously it's a manifestation of how our young democracy is actually growing. And I thank all the contributors and the guest speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Jallo, for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jallo. Good to hear you.
For your advice.
Thank you. Good to hear you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. So now we can have our guest. Well, Les Njaga has something to say, but we can have our guest to just give us a final sum of it. He mentioned something which I want to highlight. He said they were not challenging the election result. So that means UDP, as he said, that they're not challenging the election result. They are challenging the process, the things that were done, that were out of line with the laws of election laws or IEC laws. So that's something to what to note.
But that is very interesting when you say that. And according to the petition, what people are saying, Barrow is individually being accused for. That means it's also a very confusing thing.
It's confusing.
I cannot accuse Barrow on the court because their accusation is Barrow individually, not even NPP, as I heard.
Yeah.
So then I cannot then blame Barrow that IEC made something wrong. You understand what I mean? So it's a little bit confusing. Who am I accusing?
The point is that we don't know why they target Barrow, but they must have known. They are lawyers. They must.
Yeah. It's just missing confusing because right now nobody knows.
Yeah, you want to see? Yeah. Jaga, if you want to say something,
No, what I want to say is you were saying about they're challenging the process of the election. When there is something that is not right during the process, then it influences the results, the outcome of it. So if they challenge the process, then that means that they are challenging the results. Because if the process has not gone as it should be, then it bring an influence to the end result. Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So what as I am saying, if I told that Dabo is victorious, it will be a shame on our institution, the government, the IEC, the board, and everything. But also, it will be a win for our democracy, and that we can say now we can trust our judiciary system.
By the way, just to let you know, our judicial system is one of the so far among all these institutions is the most rated, positive rated institution so far because of what they have delivered.
As an independent institution. Yeah, that is because of it's very, very important when it comes to if our judiciary system has its 100% independence, because that's in that way that we can move forward as a country and as a nation. But as I said at the beginning, if UDP has to bring all these things on us, they have to have concrete proof. They have to have something genuine. They have to have something that everybody can put their eyes and their fingers on. I think that when that happens, I think that there will be no issue of it happens, it happens, as I said, they have the right to challenge, but I hope that they have something genuine because of, if I told that, there are, it's politics, as I said, I don't want to go too so deep in it, but it is.
You also like Alas. You don't want to go so deep in it. That's fine.
No, I'm not going to talk about the when it comes to justice.
I cannot hear here. You said something, Mr. Sawane.
No, I'm saying he doesn't want to go so deep in it. like Alas. So that's fine.
Jaga.
Understandable.
No. I mean,
What?
I went deep already, so I'm out again. I leave Nyaga and Sam to go deep because I only said the same thing what Jaga said, you know. So
Okay.
we are almost the same line.
The same level. The same level. Okay. Go ahead.
For me, I just have this problem that I'm confused, as many other Gambians too, because when you say today this is good, people believe you and say this is good. Tomorrow you come and say no, this is bad. So that's confusion. And I think our problem is just because we lack this electoral reform, which everybody knew since Jammeh went, but nothing is done. This one day is because of interest. Then I make it important. That's where I have these problems.
Okay.
I'm not against, I support the UDP too. That is their democratic right. That's why we are trying to enjoy the democracy. Building up the Gambia. Yeah, so it's their right to do that. Nobody should also criticize them because they are part of the game. So let them go. That's why we have the law there. I always say it here on this platform. The reason why we are living in peace is because of the law. So nobody, and I not support that too. Nobody should play with our law. So when they think they have this right and go to the court, and that's now on the desk of the judge, let us just wait what's coming out, you know, and stop playing these games, taking something or holding something informations that have nothing to do with this thing, and so that is just going to bring confusion. Let us wait what the judge is going to say. I think then everybody knows. They just have 4 weeks time, so till that time I think they know and do their job.
Okay.
We carry on.
Yeah, what I was saying is that it is very, very important when it comes to this kind of things, elections. Let us, everything like the problem where it, we can't say it is fair even when we see how it's all unfolded. The diaspora has not been given a chance or the opportunity to vote. Why? That's a question mark. So when we are talking about all the election reforms, all these things will come in. So when things like this, you understand, and there are lots of things that when we don't if things are not given where it should be given, and things are not done where it should be done, when the right thing is not done where it should be done, there will always be problems. You understand? So all these things are things that we need to look into. The whole process of it, you understand? First of all, the question mark is why they just, for me, a free and a fair election can only be done when every citizen with an identity of that particular country is given the right and the opportunity to vote. If that doesn't happen, then we question the fairness of it. So it starts from there. So the overall thing. So I don't know what will come out of it, but I hope that everything is done the right way.
Okay, I think Sam, we want to raise this hand, and Mbalo are the ones left.
I'll say my final thing, and then I'll be quiet. I will be, but I do want to address a couple of things. One on Alice. Alice said electoral reform, which is very important. That should have happened back in 2016, and nobody raised that out. That's there are 2 things about that I want to say. One is electoral reform is what caused Solo Sanding to die. That was the reason he went out, to claim for electoral reform. So that was why he died. So somebody stood up before and said that before 2016. The second part is, I think we all need to blame our National Assembly members for that. They are the lawmakers. They made the laws for IEC. So National Assembly really should have done their job. And they did not do what they need to do to get us where we need to be. National Assembly is the blame why the diasporas cannot vote either, because they need to be part of they are the legal team. That should say diasporans from Gambia, Gambian citizens, they should vote. And they put that in the laws. If it's already there, why is it not happening? They need to question that. Why? Why are our Gambian citizens not voting? So a big problem is on the National Assembly, and that's why I always say, if we put National Assembly in place to make our laws as part of their job, and they have not made any. What laws do they make? In the last 5 years, I don't know, very few. So I always say, When you put something in place like that and it doesn't function, dissolve it. Don't vote them in again. Don't give them that opportunity. Let's give the opportunity to the people that are going to stand for Gambia and do the right thing for Gambia. So on the other side, to what the caller said, I can't remember his name, Jallo, to what he said. I just want to say a little bit on that as well. Yes, and regardless of what a petition was filed for, when a petition is filed, the basics of the petition is what the court is going to look for. The court is going to look for, number one, why is this petition here? And what is in this petition, not what is not in there. Okay, they're going to look at what is in the petition, not what is not in there. So there's really no point mentioning things that really are not going to make your case. Just like Mr. Drame said, Mr. Mbalo said to you, when you go to court, you're going to court because you want to win, and you go to court to win. You don't go to court to lose. So anybody that goes to court, you also have to go with the evidence that support your case so you can win. If you know that you're going to lose, you're not going to go to court. So the reason why UDP went to court, I'm not speaking on behalf of them. I'm not speaking for any party here. This is an independent institution or group or platform. I want to say that there could only be one reason going to court is because you have evidence. You have to have tangible evidence. You have to have indisputable evidence that you can prove. Because once you take a case to court, the burden of proof is on you to prove your case. If you prove your case, the court will listen. If you can't prove your case, they throw it out. That's how it works. They just throw it out because you can't prove it. So for them to go to court and claim what they claim, I think the court is going to listen to it. And when they listen to it, they're going to ask for those evidences and witnesses, not what is not included. Yeah, we can say, well, why didn't they include this? That is irrelevant. They don't want to go after that. They want to go after what they want to go after, and it's just like, if you want to cook Benachin, you need oil first. Once you have your oil, then the other ingredients come in, the onions, the tomatoes, the meat, and all of that stuff, right? You can cook your Benachin without a meat. It doesn't matter. You can cook a good plain Benachin, no meat, as long as you have that oil and you have the other stuff.
I didn't know that. Maybe perhaps I never cook a Benachin.
But I used to say, just oil on rice.
Yeah, you need to have the rice. You need to have the oil. So if you're going to cook Benachin and you have your oil, you have your rice, you have your onions and tomatoes, you have some pepper, the meat doesn't matter. You don't have to have the meat. You can still cook your Benachin.
Thank you for teaching me how to cook Benachin.
But Sam, you cannot cook your Benachin when the chief cook didn't allow you.
Well, the chief cook is I'm just saying
that referring to the court.
Right. I know.
Only the judge can say now you can cook or you cannot cook.
Right. Well, now is at that level. That's why we need to wait for them to say what they're going to say. Right? Is at that level. So really, no point even arguing about all this. We all need to just listen and let the court take time. Let the ruling take place, and whatever the court says, then Gambians will believe in that. I think this court has done a great job. They've done a great job in the past. We've seen cases. They've overturned cases. We've seen Yakumba Jada's case, right? The president said he had the power. He dismissed her. And then guess what? The court reinstated her back.
Right.
So
that's why we have the law.
Has demonstrated that they can do it, and they're going to play by the book. So I want to listen to the court. I don't believe in anything I see on social media. I want to believe in what the court says. And that's what I'm
law is very interesting. That's why they call it law. It can turn truth to lie, lie to truth. We all know that. So it's just the best lawyer you have who is sometimes can win a case which is a lie and things like that. So, but I have to support you here. You mentioned here, Sam, that the member of parliament are fully responsible because they didn't make these laws and so on. So that's where I always used to have problems with. So they are there now. No, it's nobody's interest. But once they come to the diaspora and try to see everything from another perspective, they'll be against their deed. But they were there. They didn't do nothing. But once they are outside and see that, okay, their interest was to think the other way around, then they'll try to support that other idea. That's why I always have problems. You understand? So only what is important for you and what is your profit and what is your advantage. That is for me fake, because I cannot say this today because it's my benefit today, and tomorrow I criticize it because it's my loss. We have to be real to ourselves. That's why I said that since at the beginning of the election. That's why I wrote, if we don't change, we'll always be dancing to the same song. Something like that. I even wrote. I was referring to such things because that's why we have all these problems. If this is my benefit, I support it today. If it is not, I criticize it today. So where is my word now? Where am I? And these are the problems we used to have. So it's difficult even to support somebody because you don't know. You're supporting him with this idea today, and tomorrow he has another idea which you are going to be against. I mean, it's a democracy, they used to say, but it's extreme in the Gambia that people always follow their own interests. Not everybody, but most of them. Anybody you see dancing or loud, there's a hidden agenda behind. Believe me. That's my observation. Anyway.
Thank you. Thank you, Alas. Mbalo, final words, and then.
Can I say something before Mr. Mbalo wraps up? Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Please.
You can come.
So we also had, people talk about the 962,000 and I don't know 140 something registered voters, and some people are a little bit doubtful as if all those are like.
People like me. Yes.
Right, people like me. So I'm not saying. Let me make a clarification disclaimer. I'm not saying I do not know if foreigners are registered or not, and how significant is that figure. But the 962,000, let's assume that foreigners are not registered. That is possible. I am looking at the Gambia Bureau of Statistics website, where they have the total number of the population of the Gambia, and they broke down that population in age groups, in age categories, right? 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, and all the way to 65 plus. If you look at that data, you will realize if you start counting from ages 18 years down, it's more than 1 million people. Let's assume they all registered. Let's assume 80% registered. The 962 from the data analysis would be correct. But again, I'm not saying foreigners are not registered, but the 962 is something that can be correct.
So that means then either two things: either you foreigners are registered, or the minors are registered. People who are not at the age of fully at the age of 18.
No. If you look at the data, the no minor, the 962 would be correct from 18 to 65 above.
So from 18 to 65, what did the data say? 962 or more than 962 or less than 962?
No, the Gambia Bureau of Statistics did not say from 18. It puts the categories, like 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and there is 15 to 19. So if you compute 15 to 19 all the way to 65 plus, it is way beyond 1 million plus. And then if you remove, for example, 15, 16, 17, and then you take 18, 19, all the way to 65 plus, it's more than 1 million.
I need to look at the statistics in depth,
It is at the Gambia Bureau of Statistics website. It's right there for everybody to access.
But I think the party themselves, they see it and they know it. That's why maybe it's not part of their petition.
Okay.
But we have to be careful because there are a lot
of
of information on, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah,
on this media,
it's a good observation, but again,
even the election results, you have 10,000 of it on the internet and things like that. I think Gambians should be very careful with such information. I think.
Yeah.
And not to see the first thing and believe it so far. It's very dangerous because I've seen it. Even the election results, you see a lot of it, and you used to ask yourself, where does it come?
Exactly.
And everybody's having different kind of numbers. So this is, I think, Gambians should be careful, especially about these things.
Yeah. Mbalo, your final words, because we've been we can wrap it up. And Famara, Njaka is also on mute, but it's okay. You want to comment final?
Famara.
We are not hearing you.
Famara is not Mbalo. Mr.
Mbalo is muted. Take your phone off mute now so we can hear you.
You still mute your phone. Yeah. We cannot hear you. You still put your phone on mute.
Mute.
Hello.
Am I there now?
Yeah, you are here.
I'm here. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I was following everybody's contribution and I appreciated everybody's comment. I want to comment the contributor outside also on the phone, Dr. Abdul Karim S. Jallo. It's my boy. Yeah, I thank him so much. And I thank everybody in the panel for coming in. You see, my last word is that definitely the petitioners, they have a right to petition. It's a constitutional and democratic right to petition. It is one thing to petition, but it is another thing, to come out victorious. Because this is a matter of a court case. It's one thing to take your matter to the court, and you have to now prove to the court that, yes, the allegations you have made are correct. If you do that, then fine. We just hope and pray that whatever is good for the country shall prevail. During the campaign, all my prayers was, may the best for the country prevail. And I still maintain whatever is going to be better for the Gambia.
That one we have it the same. We have the same prayer.
Thank you.
So would you accept the outcome of the court if they say let's go for first election? Would all of you accept the outcome?
Oh yes, and I am sure the president-elect also will accept it. That when they say,
do you think the president-elect will lose this election when we do it again, fair and free?
No, in fact, I can certainly say, look, I had initially said I'm not representing any political party. I'm really not speaking on behalf of NPP, even though I sympathize with NPP. That's obvious. I'm not representing them here. I'm not representing any institution. I'm just representing myself as a private citizen of the Gambia. And I can tell you that, it is irrefutable that the 400,000 plus people did actually vote for President Barrow. That is irrefutable. In fact, I mentioned it earlier.
So why didn't that show on the campaign trail? Because we used to see President Barrow coming sometimes and with few people, with struggling, and people.
No, we are on the ground here. Let me tell you, Sawana. You see, let me tell you one thing about this. One thing you were seeing on the media. Most of those, President Barrow does not gather crowd everywhere he is. If he's traveling maybe from Birkama, from Banjul to Birkama, and then you go around Abuko and then you take a snapshot of President Barrow, you send that to the media, you say people are not following him. This is what you will say. We have had people say here, thank you, we have had people say here that it's only small children that are following President Barrow's campaign trail.
I have to believe you. Senior man, I have to believe you on that. I think they do that. They go and snapshot where in the bush where there is nobody. Yeah. And on the outskirts, and
the man is just driving to pass through a particular settlement, and then you take a video of that. You say, look, go and get the video, the live video of where President Barrow was holding meeting all over the Gambia throughout, from the beginning to the end. The crowds were coming naturally. These were genuine crowds. These were not. Look, we have seen people uploading videos of Guinea-Conakry videos campaign on our media here. Look, NPP's followers were reasonable and genuine. Let me tell you this. Someone, you and I knew Gambia platform on the WhatsApp forum. You know what I'm talking about. You see, I'm so, look, whatever is good for the country, may that prevail. But I will tell you for sure that even if the petition is won by the petitioners, it is a matter of going to have fresh elections again.
But the thing is, Mr. Mbalo,
the margin may even be greater than the current margin.
But
Okay.
Mr. Mbalo,
If you have to go for first election. Yes, yes.
The thing
Yes.
is, if it should come to that point,
Yes. Level.
the question of
point.
Gambians
Thank you.
is
Thank you. I
no,
like that. I like
the question of the Gambians
Yes.
is who is going to finance that whole thing.
Thank you very much. This is
Where
why
we
I
don't
told
have anything to eat and then try to take that sum of billions
are.
again for such a dispute.
Thank you.
And
Well,
the poor people will be more in problem. Why can't they not do the electoral reform after this?
Thank you. There you are.
Make sure that no nonsense like this will come again. Because they
Thank
knew
you.
it. That's why I said, since 2016, nobody talk about it. Whether you are a private, you are from MP or a party, nobody talk about it. So now
well,
it's their interest to make it important. That's what I hate. And confusing, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can.
well, I want to say something that's important.
Okay, one more from Sam Quick and one more.
I'll say this as my final.
Yeah, let us some comment.
This is a nice debate. This is what democracy is about. You know, it's a nice debate. It's nice to talk about things like this. So, Mr. Mbalo's case, where he said that even if we redo the election, Barrow will come out even more. Well, that can only happen if the laws don't change. Because if the Supreme Court gets to the conclusion and said the election was not fair, was rigged, and take all the claims that UDP has, or say most of them that UDP petitioned for example, foreigners voted. Well, the court I don't want to, sometimes you want to wait until you get to the bridge before you cross that. I don't want to say things ahead of time, but there can be consequences in this, because if the election is not fair, and that's why they are going to overturn it, well, that means that referee should not play that game anymore. That referee needs to change. And all the people that took part, that were part of the evidence and witnesses has played a game, and that should all be removed, right? And also, all the foreigners that voted should all be removed.
But
And
that
then
one, Sam, I also have to be careful.
I don't believe in, again, I don't believe in robbery. I don't believe in something that's not true. I want the truth. Even if the election is going to cost Gambia another $3 million, we need to get it done to get the truth, to get to the bottom line. All right.
But who is going to pay for it?
So here's what I want to say here. You know, yeah, here's what I want to say here. It's important if the court overturns this, to understand that there will be consequences, which includes all the alcalos or anyone that I put in my statement before, and I said this before, anyone that was involved in registering illegals to vote in Gambia should be held accountable. They will be prosecuted, and the court should really prosecute and even jail them to set an example so we can have free and fair elections, so that nobody will do the same thing again. Anyone that was found guilty of doing any wrongdoing that is against the law, I am not going to support that person. We should not support anything that's false. That person that violated our constitution by registering illegals from foreign countries should be held accountable. And they need to set that as an example.
That is not in their petition.
So we don't have to contest one another. So the right thing is what I'm looking for. I want the right thing to happen.
Sam, that is not in the petition, what you're talking about, and foreigners and so on. And again, there is no proof anywhere, so that you can make it even important in this case, because they knew it. They knew that the information they got was also false. That's why they didn't even put it in their petition, because there are a lot of false information, especially in the social media going. And so there is no foreigner on the IEC, they filter also. There is no foreigner having
I
this
heard it on the news. I heard it on the news.
That's it. Yeah, the news, that's it. Because it's very important. I think Marlo said that. In the news, I mean, you always try to find out where these news come from.
And that's why I said we just
hear a lot of things in Facebook. For example, I told you just here, how many results from the Gambian election did I see with different numbers and like nowhere. You know, that's why I'm warning even the people to be
You
careful
can
with
say your final
information.
word. You can
I
say your
cannot
final
be just throwing something like that, which is very
Mr.
sensitive for
Jallo.
the public.
Yes,
They
So
need to
for
be held
me, I
accountable.
think I can, yeah, we try and
Alas,
wrap up and I have to go, yeah.
yeah, Alas.
Yeah.
Me too,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's Mr. Ward. I know Jaka will come. Let's Mr. Jallo say his final words, and I make you the I make you the host, Halas, so you can end the meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
someone is Dr. Jallo, please.
Oh, Dr. Jallo, yeah, Dr. Jallo.
Yeah, it's Dr. Jallo, please.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I've seen your Malo a very interesting question. These results are
But we cannot hear properly.
Yeah.
elections again. I'm a researcher that had been carried out before. For example, if you look at the Center for Policy Research and Strategy Studies, CPRES here in the Gambia, they conducted opinion polls. So both opinion polls gave victory to Adam Barrow with significant majority. And then I want to let you guys also know that there is a London EIU also did some focus, and they also gave victory to Adam Barrow with a high majority. And this EIU, London-based economics intelligence unit, is a privately run institution which is very, very independent. Now, if you look at the majority that Adam Barrow won with, right, and you look at the inducement, which is basically the main center point of the petition, I do not think that the difference is very significant.
You guys put on your shoes and jacket.
Over 211 to 219,000 majority. So I would also give victory to Adam Barrow if another election is going to be held.
Okay.
Based on this reason.
Okay, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Let Mr. Mbalo come. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor. I like.
Jaka can also come after.
Okay, let Jaka come. I like Doctor's last point there.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said if Njaga can come, I just like Doctor's concluding point there.
Okay, very good. Njaga, you can come and we wrap it up.
No, I just want to comment on something like when Sam was talking about like if we have to do everything, and Alas was like, who is going to finance the money? The money, of course, will going to be our money, but the problem is then who should be blamed? The president should be blamed. The ID should be blamed, and everybody involved in that fraud should be blamed. Then what should we do? Then here comes the public to sanction them. And how do they sanction them? To vote against them and vote them out of office so that the law can deal with them. This is how it happens.
All right. Everybody knew it since 2016. Nobody did anything. So now it's going to cost the Gambian people again just because they neglected that. That's why I don't support that.
No, right now, it is not going to. I don't imagine that UDP taking their petition is going to cost anything, the Gambian money, or is going to cost that anything. Because I think that if somebody has to pay, it is them who is going to pay. What we are talking about, if I told that they came out victorious out of this this petition, if I told that the court gave them the victory, this is what we are talking about. Then the money. Then we have to do everything again. Then who is going to fund it? The state is going to fund it from whose money? Our money. So here comes. That's why when that happens, then it is the time for the public to know exactly who is worthy to be in office or not. So that the right thing to do is to sanction them. And after when the public has sanctioned them, then the law comes and deal with everybody who is involved in that fraud. I'm not saying that that is what's going to happen. I'm just saying, because you are talking about where is the money going to come from? It's going to come from, it's going to be our money. Yeah, of course, it will be a very, very unfortunate scenario. You understand? That will be, that's why, as I said, when it comes like that, it will be a shame to on our institutions. But on the other way around, if at all nothing comes out from it, then honestly speaking, UDP and everybody involved in that petition should look at themselves and maybe try to change something.
Yeah, thank you very much, Njaga. I think Sawane is out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Njaga. No, I just used to ask this question, and that is very independent from whether who is going to win or not. I just say this thing because when we don't do our homework, like everybody knew that we needed very urgently electoral reform, and nobody, whether a party or a private person or whoever, talked about it. So now is the point where everybody is making it important. And who is going to finance that? Just because we didn't do our homework. That's what I mean. Who is going to finance it now?
Well,
Where we don't have anything.
it all comes to our National Assembly. They are going to be the ones that are going to approve that budget. They are going to be the one that should take the blame for not doing a reform of our electoral laws. Is all the National Assembly. They are the blame. They are the blame, and that's
Right.
why
So
they
they
don't
should
do
be
anything.
voted out.
Next election, we should not vote for them. We should get them out and give it to somebody else.
And who is
Noted.
behind that
People that are
national?
going to make good laws for Gambia.
Who is behind this National Assembly? So this is what I'm trying to talk about. I'm trying to talk about.
What's that?
So here comes the public now. You understand, to try and identify who are not fit to lead this institution and put them out. Simple.
Yep. That's it. If you elect someone and they don't do the right job, get them out. Don't select them anymore. Do not vote for them anymore.
Yeah, but that is very factual, as Jaga on these things. But our problem is, you all know our problem in the Gambia. What we are talking about here, how many percent of the Gambians even understand about what we're talking about? Let me just ask you. I just throw it here on the table. How many percent, or how many people understand what we're talking about?
No.
That's the problem. And the people who understand what we're talking about, they are maybe 5%
No,
voters,
there are
not even maybe 2% voters. So
there are different factors that.
Yeah, the people who really vote in Africa, let's say, even in Gambia, not only Gambia, but in Africa, most of them don't understand the whole thing. And that's where our problem is with election and all these things. So you cannot just go and tell me this person voted this person because of this ground. People don't need grounds also. People can be suffering. After 10 years, you come and give them a bag of rice, they forget about it 10 years. We know this in Africa. And then incumbent will always try to use money, and the opposition also, which is wrong from the opposition because they can never compete incumbent, because that person is having the keys of the banks. So these are the problems we have in Africa. We've been talking about it all the time. It's unfortunate that everybody source money with over the election. I think even in America, it's the same. They spend millions, and everybody, the whole world is looking at that, about democracy. So you cannot even blame, in this case, the Africans, because we are taking that style. They spend, and business people add up also and support their parties. They spend a lot of money for these politics. So you cannot accuse somebody who give more because he's having more to play a dirty game. That's the problem we have here. So it's very unfortunate that the people who should be informed to know their democratic rights and things like that and how to vote, and we did it here. We tried it on this platform. We tried to educate people their voting rights and why they go to election and why should they vote and things like that. But how many people are hearing our voice? That's it. Very few. Because of what? Many don't have internet, many cannot see what we are doing and what we are saying. It's unfortunate. So only a few people know about what we're talking about, you and me. So the people voting who are on the ground, they vote for other reasons. Because maybe one have benachin at that day, one was hungry. So, and get benachin, a very nice one. So these are all influences. You and me cannot change it. So I cannot tell somebody because he ate my benachin, so he should vote for me by force. Also, people do it freely, you know. So that is also where we stand and say this is wrong. This should not be done on elections, things like that. Because how can we? We can only make advertisement to get clients. You know, it's very normal. I can only make rallies, giveaways to get voters. You know, even here in Germany, just that they don't do it extreme like because here nobody have time. Even here, the last mayoral, the mayor had to come here up to my door and knock and give me a pamphlet and a pen. You know, they do their own thing because people don't have time for such. You know, because these are the difference from the advanced countries. You know, he himself is going door after door making his politics. You know, so then you can still decide whether you vote for that person or not. But people don't have that time. You know? So the African style is still there. If you have money, everybody run after you. You pay. So where you get that money? People never ask for it. That's the mistake. We do it, but you and me can maybe ask where. But other people, they believe it's from God. Finish. You know, and that's it. So how can you bring such people to understand? You know, that sometimes they don't even have the money. They have to steal it. They have to go and beg, or you know, a businessman is behind them and pumping them that money because of the interest of that person. You know, because as far as he's there, that person will be enjoying his life too. So disadvantage of others. So these are all things we have as problems. You know, I see the problem very different. The thing is, we have to talk about this electoral reform, make it new. I don't know what is going to be sweet there, but this is something they should have done in 6 years and not now. And I know and I'm sure that when NPP was on the other side, they'll do the same thing. You know, so these are the problems we have. Doesn't matter. You know, some parties were very democratic and respect the democracy of the Gambia and the laws of the Gambia, which I have respect for such people too. You know, even if they were not allowed to even step in, they try to understand the system, try to respect our laws, things like that. So such parties we should not forget. You know, that's it, because they needed peace and respect the law. You know, I can be a loser, but I have to just have game spirit. But this is thing I know in Gambia. I was playing football. I know it's not the thing. You know, if I lose, I must have something. You know, so even Trump did that in America, where everybody is looking. You know, even if after going to the court said no. But up to that time, he was fighting that. So it's a democratic right. I give everybody this right to do that when they have good evidence and so. You know, but different from what I just hear and see from internet and say, okay, this is fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So
All right. Thank you, Mr. Balo.
Famara, do you have any, you want to do your closing remarks?
Yeah, I just
I
want
will
to
be mine
thank Mr.
now.
Balo for the time that he has given us today.
Yeah.
You know, despite the busy schedule in Gambia, we know the internet connection is not reliable, but despite all the facts, he gave us time to be here today. And my colleague, Dr. Jallo, who was my classmate at Muslim High School, and I'm glad to hear his voice and his contribution was very wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Jallo, for that wonderful contribution, you know. So, and the rest of the team, the usual team, alas, thank you so much. Yeah, I
thank
think,
you, Famara.
yeah, I think this is good for democracy. And it's always good to see people challenging the system, because we will definitely learn from it. It's a good recommendation for the next general elections coming. We are definitely going to learn something from it. And I think this is what every opposition should do, because that's the essence of having opposition. The incumbent or the government should always have people that are ready to challenge the system, because it only makes the incumbent stronger as well, because they will be afraid to do certain things because they know that people are watching over us, and then people will be ready to take us to the court if we don't do anything right, you know? So it's all good for our system. It's all good for our country. You know, at this point in time, just like we all said, we just wait for the court to decide what we're going to do. But at this point in time, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to overturn the election results, based on what
Yes.
we
Oh,
are
yes.
hearing. But obviously,
Oh,
if
yes.
there is a
Let's see.
substance that the court says, it is going to be just like Sam said. If it is take us to do everything right, and then cost us whatever it's going to cost us by doing something right, I think it is also important that we do it, because that is going to judge our future, and it is going to set a very good direction how we're going to deal with issues in the future. So I think that's also very important. So at the end of the day,
Thank you, sir.
whatever the court decides is what we're going to go by. I know everybody's listening right now, but at this point in time, yeah. So I thank you all for your contribution. And then, as usual, Gambia first. Our country is what is important to us. The peace and tranquility and stability is what we want to advocate for and what we're advocating for. And it's good for people to test the system to see whether it's working or not. But whatever the outcome it is what we're going to go by. And of course, the Gambia is on the progress. Gambia is on the move. We'll all go ahead. But these are learning points that I'm sure next 2025 or 2026, when we're talking about election debates again, I think this is something that we are all going to say, we have talked about this before. So I think we are improving. And I think this is what you need to do. We need to love our country. We all need to love our country. Okay. As a politician, yes, we all know we have an interest. We want to run for office. But when it comes to our citizenship, let us not joke with that. Let us not joke with it. It's not because we are trying to protect ourselves or we don't like people coming in, or obviously we want to love our country. I mean, no matter what, even you can support me, but if I want to do certain things that is against our national law, just to get you to support me, I should go against that. And nobody should obviously support those kind of things. And this is what we are saying. The country belongs to all of us, but in any country, there are laws. And those laws have to be respected, because there is no point in making laws if we cannot respect them. A lot of resources, a lot of time has been invested in making these national laws. So we have to respect them irrespective of what, even if it goes against your mission or whatever your interest is. But the laws have to be respected. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, gentlemen. A wonderful time with you guys again. I missed the last couple of Sundays, but it was good to be here with you today. I thank you all for your time, especially our guests, Mr. Mbalo, Dr. Jallo. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farmer. Thank you so much.
Can I just have my last word, please?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you very much. I also like the company. I enjoyed the debate so very much. And I thank everybody that contributed. Yes, obviously, as I mentioned before, the petitioners have a right to petition the results. That is their constitutional and democratic right to do so. They have to. Yes. Yeah, I said they have a right to do so. So we just pray that whatever is best for the country prevails. But there is one thing that we need to understand. You see, there is something that the Gambian people are not trying to get across here. You see, President Barrow and the NPP did a lot of work, and there were 18 political groupings that were supporting President Barrow during the campaign. So that's not a small number. And one thing we needed to understand also, President Barrow was UDP, and when he got out of UDP, whether we like it or not, he had divided the party. And he went with a good number of the supporters. He must have gone with a good number of the supporters. So definitely, he divided the party. And there were a large number of people following him. So throughout the campaign, he had some programs that he was presenting to the electorate. He will tell them, I have done this, I have done that, I have done this. And I want you to give me time to continue this and this and that. Whereas the opposition did not have anything to show to the electorate. They will tell them, if you vote us into office, we will do this, we will do that, we will do that. But on the contrary, this one was showing them physical projects that he was engaged in and that he had given to the Gambian people, to the electorate. And we need to understand. And anyway, you just hope and pray that the best prevails, but it will definitely not be easy to overturn the results of the 4th December 2021 elections. So once again,
Thank you very much.
Aras, I also think that sorry, I don't through my phone. I also think that from my perspective, from my own opinion,
it's going to be difficult to overturn this. I agree with Mbalo. But what this has said is it has set a standard. It will also perhaps make it difficult for Barrow to, if things turn out to be the fact that there is widespread irregularity, it will really make it difficult for Barrow to win the hearts and minds of European Union and other donors to make his government successful. So I think what he needs to do, if these irregularities are widespread, he needs to reach out to all these oppositional parties, perhaps bring them to his government if he could, and build a national unity kind of approach, so that people can heal. But in this election, to tell you the truth, it's not only UDP folks who are in doubt about the results. It's an eyebrow. I mean, people are still opening their mouth because even President Jawara has never won like this. And Jawara is considered one of the most popular presidents of our time. He has everything that Adam Barrow has and even more, because he's more educated and more visionary kind. And if President Barrow cannot win lower body, I mean, President Jawara can never won lower body before. No president, no sitting president has ever won that place, and Barrow wins that. That says a lot. That says that something perhaps need to raise the eyebrow. So this is just something that I just wanted to add before I'll ask both of you end the call.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawane. But I gave you one explanation last time, so I don't know, because that was UDP base, and all UDP bases were no more UDP bases. Mr. Mbalo had said it here. That is all one compound where you say they were voting for this, and one day you divide them. So it's definite that it can be more on this side and more than on that side. So to have such results is not something special, And Mr. Mbalo, I just have here a question as NPP friend. What do you think where people are having problem with? One like me too. It was Barrow's interest to collect all these people. So now it's his turn. When everything is over, it's going to be his turn to satisfy all these people. You think he can make it? Or it will bring more tension within his surroundings? Because everybody will come and say, okay, I voted you, so I need this. So what is your opinion in that? Was it right to collect all these people, or he will then see the consequences?
Well, I think that was totally wrong with him collecting everybody, because in politics it's numbers. We're talking about numbers.
I know. Just that I know that they are very different people, different fractions, and different interests.
Very well. That's
and
correct.
then
But
all these people will try to demand. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I understand. I get your point, but naturally it's just not possible to satisfy everybody. It's not possible.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Don't you think that will bring tension then within his surrounding?
I do not think so, because this is, as I said, naturally. This is a natural phenomenon. You cannot just satisfy everybody. So people understand there are some who will be satisfied, and obviously there are others. This is politics. There are others who will not be, who will be disgruntled, who will end up being disgruntled. That much I understand. Although President Barrow's intention is to satisfy everybody that supported and backed him throughout the campaign. But as I said, he wouldn't be able to satisfy everybody. He may want to do that.
So do you want to tell me that then he is not going to satisfy the people who didn't voted him in?
Yeah, satisfaction here may be relative. What do you mean by satisfying? Giving you everything that you want, if that is what you mean. He cannot do that. He cannot give everybody that supported him everything that they wanted or that they want.
Yeah, I understand you, but that's where people are
so
afraid of that he comes to such a problem.
No, well, people will see it as a problem, but personally, I do not think it is a problem.
Must not be. I'm just giving you what I'm just hearing. That's why I say,
you know,
okay, let me test you and see whether you have an answer for it. Maybe he himself don't even have an answer.
That, you know, it is
I-
President Barrow who may be the right person to answer that question. I'm just giving you, as I said, my own personal opinion regarding the situation. You know, but if you want me
But
to,
first, we, as Sam said, we have to wait for the court to
the
decide.
verdict of the court.
So,
And then,
and talking about that, you
Very
all
important.
said one thing. All of you said that you don't think the court can overturn this or will overturn this. I am
don't
going
say
to say,
that. I don't say that. I'm careful. You know, with
well,
law,
I
I'm
mean, the
always
ones
careful.
that, no, not
It's
you,
not
not
from
you,
me.
but Famara, Sawane, and Mbalo, all three of them.
Mbalo,
said,
yeah.
not ours.
Sure.
But my opinion is, I think if UDP has enough evidence, the court can make this election void, can void the election so we go back to elections again because of those illegal, I would say, illegal activities that happen. Like I said, just because of that. So I think the court, if they have enough evidence, like every court in the world have enough evidence, they can change this. They can say election is voided. We're going to have to go back to elections. So that is my opinion. And but I want to thank all of you too as well, everyone on this today. It's been a great discussion today, and thank you all for your time and have a great
Thank
Sunday.
you very much, Mr. Mbalo.
We'll wait for the court. I'm waiting for the
Mr.
court.
Drame, Famara, Sawane. Take care. Was a great,
Thank you
day.
all.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you guys.
thank you all.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye now.
Hello.
Yep,
Thank you,
yep.
Sam, Alas.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, nice being with you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye
Yeah,
now.
we'll talk later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Alice, you can Alice, you can end the call. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Sam, thank you.